Jonathan Hallberg, and we are here in Tomibusu City, Okinawa, Japan. Today is April 23rd, 2009, and I'm here with Mr. Timothy Jurgens. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us here. Can you tell us which dojo we're in right now?
Sure. This is the Ryukyu Kobudo Hozonshin Kokai So Honbu.
Okay.
And as you said, it's here in Tomibusu, Okinawa.
Great. Let's just start off. Can you tell us your age and where you're from originally?
Sure. I'll be 42 here in a couple of days, so we'll go with that. And I'm originally from Mankato, Minnesota.
Mankato, Minnesota. It's a long way from Okinawa.
It is, yes. Very different climate and culture.
What system of martial arts do you currently train?
I'm currently doing Shorin Karate and Ryukyu Kobudo.
Okay.
I do that with Akimino Sensei.
Okay. What's the name of the association?
The name is the Ryukyu Kobudo Hozonshin Kokai for the Kobudo, and it's Shinbukan Shorin Kyokai for the Karate Association. So there's two associations right now.
Okay. And do you hold separate ranks in those?
That's right, yes.
Okay. What are your current ranks in those systems?
In Shorin-ryu, I'm a Godan, and I have a Shihan Menkyo, and a Shidoin license, and in Kobudo, I'm currently in Yondan, and I have a Shidoin license.
Fantastic. It's quite an option in two different systems. Let's see here. Where do you just told us that. Akamine Sensei, what's his first name?
Hiroshima.
Okay. Do you hold ranks in any other systems of martial arts?
I do. I have a Shodan and Yoshinkan Aikido, but I really haven't trained that since I left mainland Japan and came back here.
Okay. Can you give us a timeline for where you've trained and who you've been with, starting with way back with your first martial arts?
Sure. It's been a bit of a journey. I was in the Marines, and the Marines tend to move you around a lot. So what I would tend to do is wherever I went, I would find somebody who was better than I was, and I would train with them. And I wasn't too terribly particular what martial arts they did.
Okay.
As long as it was mostly Shuri-T, I trained with some of Sakichi Oro Sensei's students in Georgia and California and Carolina. But just to give it kind of sequentially, I started with Taekwondo in my hometown. That was the most popular. That was there.
What was that?
That was probably 1982.
Okay.
So in '85, I joined the Marines, and I found myself in 29 Palms, which is a desert. If you've ever been there, I got off the bus and I was looking around, and I saw a bunch of stones and lots of stones and some sand and some stones, and I thought I really need to have something to fill up the spare time because it's not a very exciting place. And just at that moment, there's a gentleman that was walking out of the basic gym, and he was wearing a karate gi. And that was Alan Griffin Sensei, and he was a student of Seiki Arataki Sensei with Matsumoto Shorin. And I started doing Shorin with him back in 1985. Tony Sandoval, who was a very well-known Shorin Sensei, was also in 29 Palms at the time. He was a gunnery sergeant in the Marines at the time. And he started coming around the dojo and training. Other gentlemen like Tom O'Brien started coming around. So then in 1987, I came to Okinawa for the first time. I continued on in Shorin-ryu, first with Arakaki Sensei, Morimasu Arakaki Sensei.
You were living here at the time?
I was living here at the time. And then Tom O'Brien came over, and he was asked by Kisei Sensei to open up a branch dojo on one of the bases up at Camp Courtney, where the both of us were at. So I helped him with that dojo, and that was, I think, around 1988.
Okay.
And then I left Okinawa in '89, traveled around a bit. Embassy guard in Eastern Europe. Came back to the U.S., found myself in North Carolina around 1990, where I trained with Larry Isaac Sensei, who was one of Odo Sensei's students, Okinawa Campbell. I came back here to Okinawa in '94, and that's when I met Akamine Sensei and this dojo here. So I trained here probably about 18 months, and then I moved up to mainland Tokyo. While I was there, I trained with a gentleman by the name of Patrick Rowe, a Frenchman who was training under Nakamura Sensei at the time.
For Aikido?
No, Shorin-ryu, and Bukan Shorin-ryu is what it is.
Okay.
And he and I split ways. I guess it was around 1999. I started training with Akamine Sensei again regularly as I could when I made my trips back down here. But
was that periodic? Like regularly?
Yeah, my wife is from here, so we would come back when we had vacation time. We would come back up, probably 2 to 3 trips a year, usually about a week or 2 weeks
Okay.
each time.
So fairly regularly you could make it down.
I try to, yeah.
Okay.
And then I moved back down here in 2006.
Okay.
Kind of a long rambling answer, but...
No, it's a good
that's
answer
the way
because I
it is.
think it shows some interesting, you've had a really broad range of experience with a variety of short and youth instructors,
Sure.
with some other martial arts.
And that's both a blessing and a challenge at the same time, because when you've done it a number of different ways, quite often, if you're not entirely certain of the way that you're supposed to do it, what you learn first, or maybe what you've done the most, or sometimes what you've done most recently comes out.
Starts to shine.
But it isn't always what you want to have come out. So that's been a bit of a challenge. And then there's this whole discussion about broad but not deep. So I think for the last couple of years that I've been down here, I've really been focusing on getting together with my teacher and trying to get the understanding as deep as I could get it.
Cool, great. You already kind of elaborated on why you moved to Okinawa
Right.
initially. Did you move here the last time in 2006?
2006, right?
You moved here for karate or for
From
family reasons?
Tokyo. Well, I was with Citigroup. I was a vice president there, and I kept pushing the idea. Should we wait till that's on?
Maybe, yeah. You know what time it is? 7. Class question, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so you kind of made mention of initially why you would come to Okinawa for the military, but recently you came back in 2006 to live here. Was
Right.
that for karate reasons, work reasons? What?
Well, I would even say the military was as much to do with martial arts because I volunteered to go to Okinawa and requested it, which is
Okay.
a little bit unique. Same thing with the last time that I came back down from Tokyo. I was lobbying to try to come back down here, and with work we had an opportunity to open up a operations center, which I led. I took a pay cut to come back down here, but it was worth it to me to be able to come here, be with my teacher, be on a tropical island paradise where everybody's really kind and treats you great, and my wife's family's from here, so my
Super.
children can connect with their grandparents and everything. So it was a win all around.
Great, great. Would you tell us how living in Okinawa has benefited your martial arts training? There's obviously, let's elaborate on it.
Yeah, well, okay. The most obvious is access. Often people ask me, how do I find a good dojo in Okinawa? I jokingly say, drink 3 beers, spin around until you fall down, go straight and you'll find one. Because there literally are great people everywhere you go. And most of them are very, very kind and accepting. If they aren't, you move on to the next one. So access to fantastic teachers who are very open and willing to teach you. That's the key point. It's also nice that a lot of people come here. So not only do you have the connection with your teacher, but you also have the connection with the other branches of your organization. Since being here at this dojo, I've met people from Israel, India, Germany, Odessa, Ukraine, the UK, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, almost every corner of the earth. And you get to develop a nice bond with them, which is nice. It gives you a more international perspective.
What a great opportunity also if you ever want to travel. You can
Sure,
always,
sure.
make guest appearance and say hi to your friends. And
Sure, done that a few times.
Nice.
Quite fun.
How, if at all, has your opinion of Okinawan karate, or martial arts, I should say, because you do Budo, Okinawan martial arts changed since living here in Okinawa?
Well, it's a maturation process. I think that people who haven't been here for the first time view Okinawa through the lens of what they've seen through movies or stories or read books. And it's an imperfect lens, of course. So when you actually show up and you see that the buildings aren't all lacquer red with paper doors, that they're actually made out of cement here because of the typhoons and things like that, those are the first initial reactions that you get. And I think you also realize that the Hollywood portrayal of the sensei on some pedestal and being very strict and unapproachable goes away very quickly as well. It's more like family. The people in the dojo have the greatest love and respect for their teacher, but it's almost like the love and respect you find in a family, and maybe a really good professor-student relationship where the mentoring is going on, and you just cannot help but be awed by how much they know and how good they are at conveying what they know. And that's where the discipline and the dedication comes from. It doesn't come from standing in the lines and shouting thousands of muscle push-ups and things like that, which I think is a bit of the perception that the West may have.
Right.
So when you come here, I think those are the things that change.
Right.
You become more aware of how it really is, and layer by layer of the misperceptions that